A long time ago, in a small American town, there lived a brilliant scientist named Dr. Robert Miller. People admired him because he was always inventing new things and performing fascinating experiments. Dr. Miller was incredibly curious. He wanted to understand how everything in the world worked. But despite being intelligent, he had one serious flaw. He often rushed to conclusions before understanding the full picture. One morning, he said to himself, "Today I'm going to discover the secret behind how frogs jump." He walked to a nearby pond and carefully caught a healthy green frog. Then he brought it back to his laboratory where his notebook, measuring tools, and workbench were already prepared. He gently placed the frog on the table and gave his first command, "Jump!" The frog instantly leapt across the table with an impressive jump. Dr. Miller smiled and wrote in his notebook, "A healthy frog can jump a long distance." Wanting to dig deeper, he removed one of the frog's legs. The poor frog was in pain. Ignoring that, Dr. Miller gave the command again, "Jump!" The frog struggled, but it managed to jump a much shorter distance than before. Dr. Miller wrote, "Removing one leg reduces a frog's jumping ability." Curious to continue, he removed a second leg. Now the frog could barely stand. Once again, he ordered, "Jump!" This time, it could only twitch slightly. The scientist quickly recorded, "With only one leg remaining, the frog can barely jump." Finally, Dr. Miller removed the frog's last leg. The poor animal lay completely still on the table. The scientist shouted, "Jump!" Nothing happened. He shouted even louder, "Jump! Jump!" Still, no movement. He repeated the command several more times, but the frog remained motionless. After thinking for a moment, Dr. Miller proudly wrote his final conclusion. When a frog loses all four legs, it becomes deaf because it can no longer hear the command to jump. He closed his notebook with a satisfied smile, but his conclusion couldn't have been more wrong. The frog wasn't deaf, it simply had no legs left to jump. Dr. Miller had confused correlation with causation, making a completely false conclusion because he failed to consider the real reason. Friends, sometimes we make decisions based on incomplete information and assume we know the truth. But a conclusion drawn without understanding all the facts is often the wrong conclusion. Before judging people, situations, or outcomes, take the time to understand the complete picture. So friends, what lesson did you learn from today's story? Be sure to tell me in the comments section below. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, make sure you subscribe. See you in the next video.